If you're over 60 and feel that your muscles no longer have the same strength as before, know that this isn't permanent. There's a simple and powerful habit capable of restoring vitality to your body, and today you'll discover exactly what it is. Many people believe that after a certain age, losing strength is natural and irreversible. But the truth is that with the right practice, it's entirely possible to regain energy, autonomy, and freedom of movement. And the best part, in a safe, pleasant way adapted to your pace. Stay with me, because what you'll learn here can transform your life faster than you imagine. About 30% of people over 60 experience significant loss of muscle mass, a condition known as sarcopenia. And although this name might sound frightening, the truth is that it merely describes something many elderly people feel in their daily lives: the growing difficulty in performing simple tasks that until recently were a natural part of their routine. This doesn't mean you need to accept these limitations as permanent. There is a way back, and it's more accessible than many people imagine. Muscle strength loss doesn't happen overnight. It's silent, gradual, and often goes unnoticed until small everyday situations begin to require disproportionate effort. You know that moment when you realize you need support to get up from the sofa? Or when carrying a shopping bag seems like a giant task? Small signs like these are warnings that your body is changing and asking for more attention. These changes go beyond physical strength. They directly impact mobility, the ability to move around safely and freely. They also affect autonomy, which is the ability to perform daily activities without depending on others. And even more profoundly, they affect self-esteem. Many elderly people begin to feel insecure, frustrated, and even sad when they realize that simple activities have become challenges. And we cannot ignore the effect this has on emotional health. The fear of falling, the shame of asking for help, the feeling of incapacity accumulate, often leading to isolation and loss of joy in living. To illustrate this more clearly, we have the story of Mrs. Martha, a 68-year-old woman always active and cheerful. She loved gardening, preparing lunches for the family, and walking in the park on weekends. However, as the years passed, she began to feel that her legs weren't supporting her as before. First it was the stairs that tired her. Then the path to the market seemed longer, and in a short time, even getting out of bed required effort. Afraid of falling, Mrs. Martha began to avoid leaving home. Visits to friends became rare, outings with grandchildren decreased, and that vibrant woman gradually withdrew into her own world. Fortunately, as you'll see, this story doesn't end here, because there are very effective ways to change this scenario. It's important to understand that aging brings natural changes to the body. The decrease in hormones, reduced physical activity, and even changes in diet contribute to the loss of muscle mass. But what few people know is that this loss can not only be prevented, but also reversed in many cases. And we're not talking about difficult, expensive, or inaccessible methods. We're talking about simple practices that can be incorporated into daily life in a light and pleasurable way. The symptoms that many ignore at first are actually the body's first calls for help. Weakness in the legs, difficulty carrying objects, loss of balance, reduced walking speed, and excessive fatigue for small tasks are signs that it's time to act. The sooner this awareness happens, the faster and easier the recovery process will be. A study recently published in an important geriatric journal showed that elderly people who maintain a routine of specific activities can recover up to 30% of lost muscle strength in just a few months. This means walking more safely again, climbing stairs without fear, experiencing precious moments with family without limitations. It's a true transformation that's within reach of anyone who wishes to change. When we talk about muscle strength, we're not just referring to physical appearance or the ability to lift weights. We're talking about quality of life, about having the necessary energy to live autonomously, reducing the risk of falls, improving blood circulation, posture, breathing. Strengthening muscles also strengthens the health of the heart, brain, and bones. It's an investment in a freer and happier future. Imagine the difference it would make for you to be able to get out of bed easily, walk to the market, play with your grandchildren, travel, take care of your home, practice your favorite hobby. All this without fear, without limitations, with the renewed confidence of someone who knows they are in control of their own life. Seems distant? Well, I tell you with absolute certainty, it's not. The strength you feel you've lost can be regained, and faster than you imagine. Of course, there are obstacles along the way. Lack of correct information is one of them. Many people believe that upon reaching a certain age, the body no longer responds to stimuli. This is a major myth. Science has already proven that muscles continue to respond to strengthening stimuli at any stage of life. What changes is how these stimuli need to be applied, respecting the needs and limits of each person. Another obstacle is the fear of trying and getting hurt. This fear is understandable, but it can also be overcome with proper guidance and appropriate, safe, and progressive practices. It's not about doing heavy exercises or following routines of young athletes. It's about respecting your body, stimulating it in the right way, and celebrating every small achievement. Going back to Ms. Martha's story, it was precisely when she decided to seek guidance that the transformation began. With the help of trained professionals and simple changes in her daily life, she regained strength in her legs, returned to walking in the park, reconnected with friends, and most importantly, regained her joy for living. She herself said that life seemed to be blooming again inside her. And best of all, she achieved this by starting with small steps, adapted to her reality. Perhaps now you're wondering, but what exactly do I need to do? How do I start? Is there a specific, safe path that respects my pace and helps me rebuild lost strength? The answer is yes. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in the next moments. Before continuing, I want to emphasize something very important. You are not alone. Millions of people go through this same situation and manage to turn things around. The difference lies in the attitude of seeking change. And since you're here with me so far, it's a sign that you're on the right path. Just by seeking knowledge, you've already taken one of the most important steps toward a more active, safe, and happy life. Keep that flame of hope burning in your heart, because the journey we will walk together from now on might be exactly what you needed to transform your reality. With correct information, simple practices, and a loving look at your own body, you will realize that age can bring challenges, but it can also be a wonderful phase of rediscoveries and achievements. Rest assured, because in this video you will learn solutions that truly work. And more than that, you will feel inspired to put them into practice with safety, confidence, and a great desire to live each day in the best possible way. Now let's move forward, because what comes next is essential to understand how muscle strength loss happens. What are the most common mistakes that prevent recovery? And most importantly, how to avoid them to achieve a life full of energy and vitality. Now that you understand the importance of regaining your muscle strength, it's time to go a little deeper to understand how this problem begins, why it worsens over time, and what, often without realizing, prevents recovery. Knowing these details is fundamental for you to be prepared to change your story with more safety and confidence. The first thing we need to understand is that muscle strength loss after 60 is a natural aging process. Our body undergoes physiological changes that decrease the amount of muscle fibers and reduce the regenerative capacity of tissues. This causes muscle mass to progressively decrease. But note, natural doesn't mean inevitable or irreversible. There are ways to slow down this process and, in many cases, significantly reverse it. Another very common factor is sedentary lifestyle. As we age, it's natural for some people to reduce their daily activities. Stopping regular walks, spending long periods sitting, or avoiding small daily efforts directly contributes to muscle loss. Our body is like a gear. It needs movement to stay strong. When we stop stimulating the muscles, they understand they are no longer needed and begin to weaken even more rapidly. Inadequate nutrition is also an important and often underestimated cause. As the years go by, nutritional needs change, but eating habits don't always keep up with this transformation. Diets low in protein, vitamins, and essential minerals make it difficult to maintain muscle mass. Additionally, with aging, The body's absorption of nutrients decreases, making it even more important to pay attention to the quality of food consumed. These combined factors generate consequences that, if not noticed in time, can seriously compromise quality of life. Loss of muscle strength increases the risk of falls, one of the main health problems in the elderly. A fall can result in fractures, prolonged hospitalizations, surgeries, and even permanent loss of autonomy. Moreover, difficulty in mobility limits participation in social activities, creating isolation, sadness, and often depression. Another point that needs to be highlighted is the impact on chronic pain. When muscles are weak, other body structures such as joints and tendons end up being overloaded. This generates pain in the back, knees, hips, shoulders, and can make even simple activities like getting dressed or taking a shower difficult and painful tasks. Perhaps you're thinking, but if all this is so serious, why do so many people continue facing the problem without seeking a solution? The answer lies in large part in habits and behaviors that many adopt without realizing they are further aggravating the situation. A very common mistake is believing that, after a certain age, there's nothing more to be done. This thinking leads many people to accept the loss of strength as something normal, inevitable, and simply give up fighting. This couldn't be further from the truth. Science shows and experience proves that the body is capable of adapting and improving at any age, as long as it is properly stimulated. Another frequent error is trying to solve the problem on your own, without proper guidance. Often, upon noticing muscle weakness, the person decides to start physical activities abruptly, without preparation, choosing inappropriate or too intense exercises. This attitude, instead of helping, can generate injuries, pain, and in some cases even demotivation, causing the person to abandon any attempt at recovery. Restrictive diets without supervision are another silent danger. In an attempt to control weight or improve health, many elderly people begin to follow diets that eliminate important food groups, such as proteins, which are essential for muscle maintenance and growth. Without the right nutrients, the body cannot rebuild muscles or protect itself from injuries. Early quitting is also one of the biggest villains. It's natural to want quick results, but muscle strengthening is a process that requires patience and consistency. Many people give up in the first few weeks because they don't notice major changes. However, if they persisted a little longer, they would begin to feel real gains in strength, energy, and quality of life. Another behavior that deserves attention is the exaggerated fear of movement. After a fall or injury, it's common for a person to avoid movements, physical activities, and even simple walks for fear of getting hurt again. This fear, although understandable, contributes even more to muscle weakening and loss of mobility. The key is to move safely and gradually, respecting the body's limits, but without completely abandoning physical activity. It's important to make clear that these mistakes are extremely common and that no one needs to blame themselves for having made them. The most important thing is to understand that there is always time to change. No matter how old you are or what situation you're in now, it's always possible to adopt new habits that will strengthen your body and improve your life. Listen, for example, to Arthur's story, 73 years old. After a fall at home, he became so afraid of walking that he began to avoid going out alone. In a few months, he started feeling constant pain in his back and knees. He thought it was just part of aging and that there was nothing more to do. When he finally sought help, he discovered that with specific exercises, adapted to his condition, he could not only eliminate the pain, but also regain the confidence to walk. And that's exactly what happened. With guidance and perseverance, Arthur resumed his daily walks and started attending meetings with friends again, regaining his joy of living. Stories like Arthur's show that strength is not only in the muscles, but also in the decision to take care of oneself. Age can bring challenges, but it also offers the wisdom and courage needed to overcome any obstacle. Throughout this conversation, you've already realized that the problem of muscle strength loss is more common than it seems, and that many attitudes that appear harmless may, in fact, be further harming your health. Recognizing these mistakes is the first step to turning them into successes. Therefore, maintain this positive attitude and stay with me. In the next section, we'll talk about what really works to recover your muscle strength. You'll discover safe, accessible, and extremely effective practices that can change your reality in a short time. Let's go together on this journey toward a stronger, more active, and happier life. Now that you understand everything that might be weakening your muscles and which mistakes need to be avoided, we've reached the most important moment of this video. Let's talk about the best habit that can transform your muscle strength, especially after 60. A simple, different, and very powerful habit: taking active breaks throughout the day. Perhaps you've never heard of this, but creating the habit of interrupting prolonged periods of inactivity to move your body in a light and conscious way is one of the most effective practices to recover and maintain muscle strength, especially for those who already feel they've lost some of that strength. The logic is very simple. The human body was made for movement. When we spend many hours sitting or lying down, our muscles gradually lose stimulation. And without stimulation, they weaken, shrink, and lose vitality. Active breaks interrupt this cycle. They remind your body that it needs to stay strong and prepared, even as the years go by. Now tell me in the comments, where are you from? And if you identified with any of the habits we've discussed so far. I'd love to know your story and see how you're preparing to change this reality. Taking active breaks isn't complicated. It's so simple that anyone can start today. The idea is to stand up at least every 60 minutes and perform small movements that activate the main muscle groups. This can be done with easy gestures, like stretching your arms above your head, rotating your shoulders backward, making circular movements with your hips, raising and lowering your legs alternately, or simply walking for a few minutes around your home. These movements awaken muscles, improve blood circulation, increase oxygen in the blood, and, most importantly, send a message to your body: maintain strength. If this made sense to you, share it with someone who also needs this information. It can make all the difference. Sometimes, a simple habit like this can prevent years of physical limitations and open the way to a much freer and more active life. Many recent studies prove that elderly people who adopt active breaks throughout the day show less muscle loss, fewer joint pains, and lower risk of falls. A study conducted with more than 1,000 elderly people showed that those who moved even in small intervals had up to 40% less incidence of sarcopenia, that accelerated loss of muscle mass. This happens because muscles, even when used lightly, maintain their active functioning, preserve fibers, and delay the wear and tear process. Another very interesting point is that, by creating the habit of active breaks, you also strengthen your mind. Moving frequently reduces stress, improves sleep quality, increases energy, and even improves mood. Small actions, repeated consistently, generate great transformations. But to succeed, it's important to follow some practical guidelines. First, set reminders to move. It can be an alarm on your phone, a programmed clock, or even visible notes around the house. The important thing is to create movement awareness. Second, choose movements that are easy and enjoyable for you. You don't need to feel pain or do anything exaggerated. The goal is simply to awaken your body from time to time. Third, maintain frequency. It's no use taking active breaks only one day and forgetting the rest of the week. Transforming this into a daily habit is what will generate real results. Another important detail is to remember to respect your limits. At first, you might get tired quickly or find it strange to interrupt your activities to move. This is normal. Over time, your body will adapt, and you'll notice how these breaks bring more energy, lightness, and even more enthusiasm to perform your daily tasks. If you like content like this, click like, subscribe, and activate the bell to receive more health and wellness tips. This way, you'll always keep up with new ways to take better care of your body and live with more quality. Many elderly people who adopted the habit of active breaks report impressive changes. Mr. James, for example, at 69 years old, felt that getting up from the sofa became more difficult each day. After he started taking active breaks every hour, even at home, he noticed that his legs became stronger, his balance improved, and he was able to walk around the neighborhood again without fear. Mrs. Ruth, 72, says that she previously felt constant pain in her back and legs. By incorporating small daily movements, she managed to alleviate these pains and felt her self-esteem reborn. These examples show that it doesn't matter where you are now. The important thing is to start, and starting small is completely valid. 10 seconds of conscious movement today can transform into 2 minutes tomorrow, 5 minutes next week, and without realizing it, you will have built a new, much healthier, and more liberating lifestyle. And if you want to solve this once and for all, check out the link we've left here in the description with more detailed guidance. There you'll find special content that will guide you even further on this journey of strengthening and recovery. You deserve to live with freedom, vitality, and joy. It's never too late to give your body the attention and care it needs. The daily practice of active breaks is a form of self-love, a commitment to your health and to everything you still want to experience. With small steps and the right attitude, you can regain much more than strength. You can reclaim precious moments, return to activities you love, and discover new joys that were dormant within you. Always remember, age is just a number. What matters is the desire to continue living with your full potential, and that desire is alive within you. Now it's just about taking the next step. Beyond the powerful habit of taking active breaks throughout the day, there is one more essential habit that can further accelerate your muscle recovery. Maintaining a nutritious and balanced eating routine focused on building muscles. Many people underestimate the impact of nutrition on physical strength, but the truth is that without the right nutrients, your body simply cannot regenerate. And the good news is that you don't need to follow complicated diets full of restrictions. On the contrary, the secret lies in making simple and consistent choices that help your muscles strengthen from the inside out. Prioritize foods rich in good quality proteins. Proteins are like building blocks for muscles. Sources such as eggs, fish, chicken, natural yogurt, white cheese, beans, lentils, and chickpeas are excellent allies. Also include foods that are sources of antioxidants, such as berries, grapes, oranges, carrots, spinach, and broccoli. These foods help combat inflammation and protect muscle cells against premature aging. Another key point is to ensure good sources of healthy fats, such as extra virgin olive oil, nuts, and seeds. These foods help in the production of important hormones for maintaining muscle mass. And of course, maintain good hydration. Water is essential for the functioning of muscle cells and tissue recovery. Small changes in diet can make a huge difference in a short time. And the best part is that by properly nourishing your muscles, you also strengthen your heart, improve brain function, protect your bones, and increase your energy to fully live each day. Now that you know 2 simple, accessible, and extremely effective habits to recover your muscle strength, I want to leave you with a very important reflection. Perhaps you're wondering if it's still worth starting. Maybe you have doubts about whether you'll succeed. I want to remind you that it's never too late to start over. It's never too late to take care of yourself and to achieve a more active, healthy, and happy life. Imagine yourself a few months from now, feeling stronger, more willing, walking with confidence, performing tasks that once seemed difficult, smiling because you notice your body is responding better each day. Imagine the pride of looking back and seeing that you chose to invest in yourself, in your well-being, in your freedom. The small actions you begin today are seeds that will bloom in the future. Each active break you take, each healthy meal you choose, each step you take in this direction, all of this will add up and build your new story. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to seek perfection. You just need to take the first step, and then the second, and then the third. And thus, with gentleness and persistence, you create an increasingly lighter reality, full of movement, health, and joy. Remember that there is no right age to start taking care of your body again. There is only the moment of decision, and that moment is now, because the present is the only real opportunity we have to build what we wish to live. And I want you to take this message with you. It doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is how many dreams still live in you. and they deserve to be lived with a body that accompanies you, sustains you, and propels you to experience everything that is yet to come. And if you've made it this far, it's because that desire still pulses strongly within you. Let's together make it the force that will transform your life.